This report has Bills fans livid. Last week, an article came out ranking NFL teams' wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs in groups for 2025. And let's just say this has caused some controversy after the Bills were ranked near the bottom. Let's talk about this report, why the Bills got this ranking, and what people's reactions are, all on the Bills Digest YouTube channel, so please subscribe. So yeah, they ranked each team 1 through 32, and he did this on ESPN, and he started with a little disclaimer. These are not a ranking of the league's best offenses. They are the best set of playmakers where I'm trying to separate the production of running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends from the quarterbacks. So this is important because we know the Bills, their main guy is our quarterback, Josh Allen. So I think that's important to mention. I'm glad he included that in the article. But, I was scrolling through when I saw this article, and it went from worst to best. It started off with the Titans at 32, Panthers, Patriots, Browns, and then here come the Bills at 28th out of 32 teams. And I just thought this was a little ridiculous. It seems definitely too low. I just was shocked by this. Obviously, we know that our other offensive playmakers aren't huge stars, but I think putting them this low to the bottom when they're this strong a team is very interesting. Obviously, I agree that, Allen is not included, but it's definitely interesting. And, he did start by saying this probably feels low for one of the best offenses, but star quarterback Josh Allen has been removed from this equation. And he even goes on to say that Beane might disagree, and he definitely will because he's definitely taken a lot of hate, received a lot about the lack of wide receivers. And I definitely do agree that our wide receivers leave a little bit to be desired. He talks about Dalton Kincaid failed the top 55 receiving yards in a game. Second round pick Keon Coleman averaged 19.2 yards per catch, but he wasn't able to command a consistent role in the lineup and just 3 catches. And he talks about, losing Matt Collins, who ended up actually exceeding expectations, and now being replaced by Josh Palmer. And also went on to say that James Cook is someone that was kind of a breakout star. So it'll be interesting to see kind of that. But yeah, belonged to James Cook, whose touchdowns rebounded way past the mean. I'm glad that he recognized Cook's efforts. I feel like Cook definitely played well last year. And I even think that, backups Ray Davis and Ty Johnson are great options. I thought, I think their role's a little understated, but I do think that having those 3 guys that cannot just be a running back, but also kind of be in the wide receiver role and receive catches on third down plays or second yard plays is like a big deal. So he said that this is why the Bills might have fallen towards the bottom of his charts. And yeah, I definitely disagree with him, the running back and the tight ends aspect of this, because I do think that, James Cook and Dalton Kincaid could make this rating a little higher, maybe in the mid 20s or early 20s. And I know that the wide receivers, the Bills, get a lot of hate for that, but Khalil Shakir is a good player, and I just feel like each year he is improving. So I'm not taking this report too seriously, but it definitely brings up a lot of questions. And in this ranking, the top 3 teams ended up being the Eagles, the Lions, and the Bengals. And, obviously Eagles won the Super Bowl, but the Bills ended up scoring more points than them during the season, and the Bills did beat the Lions. And I know it's not a question of scoring, but it does just hurt a little bit to see your team rated that low when we know we're a good team. And even Dalton Kincaid was an honorable mention on the top 10 tight ends list, so he's not quite there, but he almost is, and I still don't think that means the Bills should be 28th. But yeah, definitely based on this, people's reactions were pretty heated. There was a lot of mixed reviews on Twitter. That's where I mainly looked, because when you see that 28th ranking, just a lot of intensity and fire, people just get really mad right away. So this was by Bills Access. They said that the Bills ranked them 28th and asked people what their thoughts were. This was kind of an interesting one. This was the top response. They said completely accurate. McDermott and Beane's entire philosophy every season is make Josh do cool stuff to make up for all our other inadequacies, including coaching, and then losing the playoffs. That's their entire game plan. Definitely a little bit harsh, and there were responses to this that were I would say in the past, Josh was expected to do that hero ball stuff, and he was kind of making every single play. But I feel like last year was a big season where we saw that there was a lot more, the running game was more. Josh was, throwing it to other receivers, other tight ends, running backs more than usual, and he wasn't just running the ball himself or, making big plays, which he was making big plays, but it wasn't all entirely on his shoulders. And I feel like that's why I kind of disagree with this. Even though they are building their offense around Allen and he is their main guy, I feel like they've made strides in making sure Allen isn't being that superhero, making every play on his own. Even though he still does, because he's such a good player, that I don't think it's all that. And then there's another one that said, I understand low 20th. A lot of the guys still have to prove themselves, even though I'm high on them, but 28th is too harsh. I like our guys better than teams like the Steelers, Seahawks, Saints, and probably Jets, who all ranked higher. I think that was shocking, like scrolling up and seeing the teams that were ranked better. The Jets, who they beat a lot. The Bears were above them, who are not a good team. The Saints. Like, I just was very shocked by like the teams that were ahead of them. And I know that a lot of them do have more superstar players and not as strong of a team, so I'm not too mad about it, but I just think it is really interesting. But I kind of agree with this one. It said the Bills have proved as long as Josh Allen is quarterback one that everyone else's prognostication is garbage. In a rebuilding year without number one wide receiver, they're still the second highest scoring team in the NFL. And I feel like that's kind of my general consensus from this article is that, yeah, it's tough to see your team that low, but our whole team is kind of based around Allen. Like, he was the MVP for a reason. He really had to carry the team, even though there are so many good options. And the Bills are different than traditional teams where they have a superstar like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson that they can just go to every time. And we tried that out. We had Stephon Diggs, and I feel like that just didn't work as well because you can't expect to have one guy open the entire time when they have like star cornerbacks against them and safeties. So I feel like I love how the Bills do it. They have strong players, Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman, tight ends Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox, that are strong players, and Allen can go to any one of them. It's not like he has to target one guy. It can leave cornerbacks a little confused because you never know where the ball is going to go. It doesn't matter if your player's right off the bench or if he's a star. Allen will throw it to you if you're open, and I just feel like that is a big kind of like sets the Bills apart from other teams, and they are better than 90% of the teams that are ranked higher than them. So I feel like people, like the Bills fans, need to calm down a little bit. It is kind of infuriating to see. I definitely was mad at first when I saw it, but the games haven't even started yet, and that's what some of the comments said. Like, we'll talk in January when the Bills start playing. And I saw this quote from Louis Riddick, who is ESPN broadcaster. He was kind of talking about in response to this. Forget the offense. Josh is going to do. He's going what he's going to do, and offensively they're going to score a ton of points, and they're going to be there in the end. It's defensively in the secondary against a high-powered team that we know can win the game. So I feel like I definitely agree with that. Like, there's always talk about the offense, but it really is the defense that makes just as big of an impact, and that's where the Bills need to be more focusing on. We do have great guys, James Cook, Khalil Shakir. I like our offense. I don't really care what other people are saying. It's clearly worked in the past, and last year I don't think it was the offense that made them not make it to Super Bowl. I feel like it was more their defense, and I don't know. I just feel like Beane and McDermott should, like they've been doing, focus more on the defense and get that stronger because the defense becomes more on par with the offense. I think we could definitely have a Super Bowl level team. But all these articles are going to come out, and the Bills will continue to get hate, especially about the wide receiver and the lack thereof. But I'm excited to see what guys like James Cook can do, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, I'm so excited for because he's had that huge contract extension. And even backups, Josh Palmer, Elijah Moore, who they got from the Browns, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, backup running backs. I'm pretty confident in what the offense can do. And if other people aren't, then that's okay. It's not their team. They don't have to worry about it. But when we make it into playoffs, then the Bills can do a little I told you so. And if not, whatever. And either way, we have MVP Josh Allen to rely on. And he's shown time and time again that he's extremely reliable. And if everyone else is playing badly, he can put the ball in his own hands and make a touchdown or make a great play. So I'm curious to see what you guys think, if you agree with these reports, disagree, or like kind of me. It doesn't matter. We'll see what happens in January. But once again, please subscribe to the Bills Digest YouTube channel, and thank you for watching. Go Bills.